All right, so for my research assignment, I chose the Regulating Bodies and Substance Packet, which is a combination of many different subjects related to different policies on what you're legally and not legally allowed to do to your body. So I think it's very relevant to a lot of the topics that people debate today in society, whether it's drug laws like legalizing marijuana or performance enhancing drugs, whatever it may be. And I found all of the research articles in the packet to be very factual and make sure they're citing all their credible sources and authors. The one that stood out most to me was the article called Cooperstown and the Roids by Bill James. I thought it was very intriguing because I consider myself an avid baseball fan, and I've often gotten into debates with people about who should be allowed in the Hall of Fame and who shouldn't be based on who was caught using performance enhancing drugs or steroids. And I often ask myself that question, like people like Barry Bonds, who's statistically one of the greatest baseball players of all time, but people don't want to let him in the Hall of Fame because there's a lot of allegations that he used steroids. The author leans on the side of letting players in the Hall of Fame who were caught using steroids. And I'd say after reading the entire thing and based on my own beliefs, I agree with the author, Bill James. So the other two articles that also stood out to me was one by author Joe Klein, a journalist and member of the Council on Foreign Relations, and that one was headed "Why Legalizing Marijuana Makes Sense." And he talks about a huge pro-marijuana proposal that was turned down by Obama and cites extreme costs of prisoners who are in prison from just minor drug charges, the author is pretty much just saying that they're taking up a waste of space and money. And the whole article just mainly focuses on the moral and economical reasons to legalize marijuana. But back to the Cooperstown and the Roids article by Bill James. He's said to be one of the most influential people in the entire game of baseball. And despite never playing a game professionally, he was known for his precise methods of generating statistics, and many of which he invented and are primarily still used today. So the major question of discussion in that article was just, should those who were caught using performance-enhancing drugs be banned from the MLB Hall of Fame? And at the end of the article, you can find that Bill James' opinion is yes, that anyone should be allowed in the Hall of Fame regardless of if they were caught using PEDs or not. And I agree with that only because I feel like the action of hitting a baseball or fielding a baseball has nothing to do with how strong you are. It's just a skill that you can't really teach, and the players who did it best you can't take it away from them. And Bill James, he kind of throws this out there theory for him in the future that he thinks 20 years from now, so our next generations using steroids are going to be normalized, because I think he alluded to all of the supplements and natural growth enhancers that people take today that are not considered performance enhancing drugs, but it's really a gray area on that subject. So he thinks 20 years from now, performance enhancing drugs will be made safer for the human body and they'll be normalized just like anything else, like pre-workout or something like that. And so yeah, he believes doctors will learn how to prevent the health risks that are the downsides of performance enhancing drugs and how they deteriorate the body. He also related steroids to the way that TV used to be portrayed. And I thought this was pretty out there, but I was able to read along and actually kind of understand what he's talking about. He said back in the day, television shows would often show married couples sleeping in separate twin beds because the topic of any type of sexual relationship was taboo to be on TV or anything like that. And he thinks that it's very similar to the way people perceive steroids, as right now it's very taboo and, oh, you get caught using steroids, you're a cheater. But years from now, it'll be just another supplement, I guess you could say. And he also suggests, as players grow older and eventually pass away, the members of the MLB Hall of Fame will consist of players from more recent generations, and he believes the younger generations will side with the steroid users. So all in all, I thought the regulating substance and bodies packet was very interesting because every single article that I read is like so relevant to what's going on today in society. So it really just kind of made me sit back and really think about things.